Hi everyone! So in our third literature review series, we're going to talk about how to organize your literature. Now that you know how to read an article critically, it is very important for you to know how to organize them. This is because when doing your research proposal or even your research thesis, you're going to read a lot of articles. So we do not want you to forget whatever that you have read earlier once you start to read a new article. So how do we organize our materials? Simple. First, you need to tabulate them. What is tabulating them? So you just put a summary of the article in a table format. And then you need to select articles that are relevant to your research. So once you have evaluated these selected articles, you're going to eventually find patterns among them. After that, you can use these patterns or themes and categorize them into subheadings for your literature. So how do you write a literature review? So you need to describe or summarize these articles that you have read earlier in your own words. This is also known as paraphrasing. And we're going to talk about that in our next series. Here's an example of a literature review matrix. So a literature review matrix, or also known as a literature log or a literature table, comprises of summaries of the articles that you have read. If you look at this table right here, you can see that the author actually didn't put any title for the research. So that makes it hard for us to trace these articles, right? So probably in your table, you would want to include the title of the article. So it's a fairly thorough example. So they provided the frameworks, the research questions and hypotheses. Well, you can follow this table, but you can also make a simpler version, whatever works with your research. How do you select an article that is relevant to your research? So this is what you need to ask yourself. What is it that you want to accomplish? What is it that you want to find out? And what is the focus of your study? So upon finding this literature that are relevant to your study, you select them and include them in your literature list. And then you evaluate them, and eventually you're going to get themes, emerging themes or patterns. So let's take a look at our example in our next slide. So in this example, the author wanted to define the 3 levels of writing a literature review. Okay? So as you can see, they have summarized from 4 articles. And you can see here, it is color-coded according to the levels of writing a literature review. So the green, for example, if you take a look, there's green, there's blue, and there's red. If you see, probably red is a theme that says there are several steps of writing a good literature review. You need to address the patterns, you need to address the gaps. There's 10 rules, there's 5 steps. So it emerges as a similar theme. Same goes with same goes with the green color and also the blue color. So this is how you analyze. You compare and contrast between articles. And then you describe these articles according to your own words. Let's take a look at an example here. So this is what we call, the first paragraph here is what we call paraphrasing, which is to paraphrase whatever or summarize whatever that you have read in your own words. Okay? And this is what we call direct quotations. So you can actually use direct quotations in your research, but you have to use it sparingly, because this is actually taking word for word from the articles that you have read before. Why do you take word for word? Because you are you feel afraid that if you paraphrase it, it's going to change the meaning. So if you are afraid that you're going to change a meaning that's very important, you can definitely use direct quotations. No worries. Okay, so you are required to tabulate all of the literatures that you are going to use in your research proposal. So I can just simply ask for your literature review matrix at any time during the semester. So be prepared, okay? So remember, in our second series, we talked about the reference list that is at the end of every research article. So how do you organize your references? So simple, you can use either one of these software. I know for a fact that Mendeley is free and EndNote is free for UiTM students. You can check at our PITA library. I know they provide with a free login ID or something like that. You can use whatever software that you feel comfortable with. But here's the thing: you need to understand the format first. You need to have the skills of doing it manually before using all the softwares, because you need to be able to identify if this software is giving you an incorrect format or for the citation or the reference list. Okay, I believe that's all for organizing our references before writing our literature review. I'll see you in our next series. Thank you.